Good morning. Today is the 20th. And thou shalt have no other gods before me. Exodus 23. Whereas the ancients too often centered their affections on gods made of wood or stone or metal, idols in our day are more likely to take the form of portfolios, stock options, chrome, size or location of houses, vacations, country clubs, and social circles. Yet anything that entices our hearts or minds away from the sincere worship of the true and living God and the labors associated with the establishment of Zion is an idol. How apt was the Lord's description of the state of the world at the time he called the choice seer Joseph Smith. They seek not the Lord to establish his righteousness, but every man walketh in his own way, and after the image of his own God. President Ezra Taft Benson taught that when God is at the top of our list of priorities, all other things either take their proper place beneath him or fall out of the list completely. I think I need to reevaluate my list. I feel like all I do is work and craft, and work and craft, and craft and craft and craft, and work. All right. Today is Genesis 23, and what happens in this chapter is Sarah dies, and Abraham mourns, and he needs to find a place to bury her, so he goes to the sons of Heth and says, "Give me a place to bury my dead. I'm begging you." And they say, "We're not going to withhold anything from you. You can have any of our sepulchres. Put her wherever you like. It's yours." And he says, No. I don't want a sepulcher. I want that plain over there with those trees and that cave." And they said, "Okay, fine, sure, have it." He goes, No, I'm going to pay you for it. So he pays like 600. I can't remember how much it is, but it like silver. He pays silver for it. And from that time forward, everybody who entered into the city, what was it? The plain of Hebron, Mamre, something of that nature. Whoever entered into the city was made aware that that plain belongs to Abraham forevermore. He buried his dead. The end. So that's the chapter. And there's nothing in the side-by-side. And there's nothing in the Ludlow. Mainly because Sarah died, and that's about it. But I do have this book. Hang on. I read it before we started the New Testament. It's called Our Sisters in the Bible by Jerry Hurd. It's a girl. Jerry the girl. And I've been meaning to read it again. Okay, so it talks about Sarah and Hagar. It goes through the whole relationship. All that stuff, but it gets to a point where it talks about, okay, so it goes through the whole story, and then it kind of summarizes or like gives a kind of wrap up. For Sarah too, things worked out well. Not only was she honored as the mother of God's chosen nation, but she was given the time and pleasure of raising her child free from jealous discord. In that God was kind. I wonder if the scripture's silence concerning her role in the near sacrifice of Isaac is a kindness as well. Was that final trial of faith given to Abraham alone? Which is an interesting point. Sarah must have known that in his devotion to God, Abraham would not withhold even Isaac. Did she know and trust in him as completely as he trusted God? Or was that the final searing test of her faith, watching them leave, waiting, not knowing the outcome for 6 days while they traveled to the mountain and back? Whatever her role, Sarah met the test. She is acknowledged by Paul as one of those great in faith. The near sacrifice of Isaac is the best known incident in the life of Abraham. It is also the event in which Sarah is least visible. But in the larger scope of their married life, her presence is unmistakable. Though she lived thousands of years ago in a foreign land, I find her wise and meticulous cultivation of her marriage is laudable today, as when Peter and Paul spoke her praises. Husbands and wives who forfeit spiritual aspirations, God's promises, for more expedient pleasures, often find themselves, like Hagar, facing the desert alone. The freedom that allows a person to achieve his or her full potential comes from skillfully balancing individual agency and needs against the rights and needs of the union. Sacrificing some to nourish the self much more in the rich medium of a warm, supporting family. In my opinion, it was such a marital skill, not groveling submission, that made Sarah the model, obedient wife. It was the skill that earned her a full and equal partnership in the fulfillment of God's promise. Yet one need not achieve Sarah's excellence to have value in God's eyes. Hagar didn't, and she was visited by angels. So there you go. I read it before we started the Old Testament last year because I wanted to see if it was good, if it was going to help me. It's very interesting. I can't find a bookmark. And it was very good. And I obviously need to read it again. So that was Genesis 23. And next week is 24 through 27. So we're going to break up 24 into 3 days. And then we'll do 25 and 26. And then break up 27. And I watched the first half of the podcast yesterday morning. I really can't stand some of the things that were said. But I'm going to watch the second half today, see if it gets any better. Read this book about Rebecca again, see what it says about Rebecca, and hopefully I'll have something interesting to say tomorrow. All right. Happy Sunday. I love you all. General conference is in 6 weeks. I got to figure out what I'm going to do. I read some of the talks earlier, like once I got my conference edition, but I'm only through the first session of Saturday, so I need to pick it up. All right, 6 weeks, people. I love you.